Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Mad Chat. It's the only pro wrestling show you need to be watching that features videos from other people.
From our patrons.
From our patrons, that's right. You can join in on the action at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. The $20 a month tier on Patreon gets you the Friendo Care Package, which includes a comic book featuring a Steve and Larson adventure. 3 stickers, a poster, and a postcard. And also it gives you the ability that month to post up every week a Matt Chat question for us to answer, ends up on this show. So if you enjoy Matt Chat and want to be a part of it, that's how you do it. We're also available. Of course, obviously, we are available here on YouTube, youtube.com/Steve and Larson. If you're listening to us in the audio realm, we are available on CastBox. It's a terrific podcast app.
It really is.
Check it out. Subscribe to Going In Raw there and leave us a comment. And then we're also available at prowrestlingtees.com/Going In Raw. We got a bunch of great shirts there. And we still have shirts left at thefriendomarket.com.
We do.
I'm going to be adding some stuff to that store very soon. Or we are going to be, sorry. And so that's very exciting. But we've got a ton of great Matt Chat questions today.
We do.
So let's dive right into them, Larson. Who's up first?
Josh Little is first. Let's see what Josh has to say.
Okay.
Steven Larson, who's better, Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre? Steve, you get Rollins. Larson, you get McIntyre. Thanks, friendos.
Thank you, Josh Little.
Thank you, Josh.
We met him at StarCast. He got us this amazing. So this is the new 4 horsemen of wrestling: Roman Reigns, Lex Luger, and Sting. It's the new 4 horsemen of wrestling right there, Larson. I think it's a great group. And then mystery partner.
Yeah, there's only 3 right there.
RoboCop. I think Stevie Bradley has a RoboCop. He's going to send it our way.
Oh, cool.
Anyways, so Josh Little, his question. Look, there's no loser here. He's given us a win-win situation. I'll take Seth Rollins. Sure, why not? You know why? Because in WWE terms, he is best bout machine. New Japan might have Kenny Omega, but WWE has best bout machine Seth Rollins, the guy who's supremely over. He's creative. He always brings something new to the ring, and he always leaves it out in the ring during all of his matches. Super charismatic. Dude's got a long future ahead of him, a long career ahead of him. Every time they say, hey, Seth on Raw, look, let's be honest. Let's face it, all right? Raw sometimes can be a bit of a chore to sit through. It's 3 hours, lots of recaps. Sometimes there's some filler. However, you always know that every episode of Raw, you're going to get like about a 20 to 40-minute chunk of time devoted to a Seth Rollins match. And usually that's one of the better parts of Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins, best bout machine. Give me him any day of the week.
Drew McIntyre, man. He is a man. I'd say Seth isn't. Seth is CrossFit Jesus. But just look at Drew. 6'5", 260 pounds of pure muscle.
Jacked.
Just jacked.
Why is it his name? Jack McIntyre.
Athletic to boot.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. Here's the thing that Drew has done, that is, and near as I can tell, no one else has done in the history of wrestling. Made Dolph Ziggler interesting.
Oh, I don't know about that.
This pairing between Drew and Dolph has lit a fire under Dolph. He's doing the best work he's done in years.
Going down the wrong.
No, this is not
going down the wrong route.
No,
here,
I'm not. This is just one way in which Drew is better.
What, than Seth?
Yeah.
Oh my God, no, you're going down the nothing can make that. That's actually a testament to how uninteresting Dolph is. Even Drew can't make him interesting.
I honestly think this is the best work Dolph's done probably since like 2012.
Okay.
He seems inspired. He seems motivated. And I think this pairing with Drew, knowing how awesome Drew is, and knowing that if he doesn't pick up his game, Drew's going to like lap him several times over. So I think that pairing has helped Dolph immensely. Look at it. He's already won 2 titles since, WrestleMania when Drew got called up. And I think that's largely a testament to Drew's immense skills and talents. Also, Drew, his first run WWE didn't go as planned. However, he went out on excursion for about 3 years.
That is a good way to put it.
Became a better wrestler, and he came back, went to NXT, and blew everybody away. Absolutely blew everybody away. since his call up to main, he has continued that. Even though he had to do a complete 180 in terms of his character, he's been a great heel on main roster. Scary, sinister, super mean. He's great on the mic, awesome in the ring, does incredible things because he's so damn strong. And that Claymore he delivered on Raw to beat Dean was great. The Claymore he delivered at Hell in a Cell to help him and Dolph successfully defend the tag team titles was great. I'm all in on Drew 100%.
The two guys that I've mentioned before a couple of weeks ago that have brought another level of intensity even from when they were in NXT, Drew and Almas. The intensity that Drew brings to everything he does really does need to be looked at by everybody else on the main roster, and you know, they need to try to match that, because that dude, every time the camera's on him or not on him, that dude is giving everything he has. That's all I really ask. That's why I'm such a big fan of Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, is that both those guys, Seth especially so in the ring, Drew especially so in his character work, they bring everything they have and more. And it's very impressive. So not a wrong answer.
Not a wrong answer. They're both fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I just made a better case because I didn't have to talk about Dolph.
No, I think I made a better case because I did talk about Dolph.
Don't think you did. Who's next?
Next, your Zodiac Killer.
Uh-oh.
Steve's Zodiac Killer. Let's see what he has to say.
Oh, dear.
Hello, Stephen Larson. Another matchup question for you from Steve's Zodiac Killer. Now, this weekend, I went to Future Shock Wrestling, which is a promotion based in Manchester, England. Great wrestling show. And they had Doug Williams on the card, a legend in the UK scene, but never really been linked with WWE, or at least I don't think. So the matchup question is, who is a legend who has never been in WWE, or who is the best one to not be in WWE? I'd love to know you guys' thoughts and opinions. Too sweet, hearty handshake, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Steve Zodiac Killer.
Thank you, my Zodiac Killer.
Oh, I get to go first.
You got to go first.
You know, we actually had kind of a tough time because we kind of set aside wrestlers who spent a vast majority of their careers in Japan or currently in Japan.
Yeah.
Just focused on wrestlers here in the States, wrestlers who never really had, set aside like a dark match or a squash match on Heat or Velocity or something like that. That doesn't really count.
Yeah.
I mean, like a run, like a real run in WWE.
So, okay.
And the name I came up with was...
Well, before you give your name, let's talk about some of the other people that we talked about that isn't your name.
All right.
Chris Daniels.
Yeah.
Granted, he had like a couple... He was supposed to be the higher power.
Yeah.
Right? Never had a real run in the WWE. He might have had a match or two, probably.
Yeah, probably. It's like everybody did in the late 90s, early aughts.
Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
Another name that is kind of actually surprising that he never had like one stint in WWE. So those are two names that are still active right now that you can point to and be like, oh, that's kind of surprising. Of course, you can go to Japan, all sorts of wrestlers over there from the past that never made their way to WWE. But you go ahead with your name.
Joey Ryan.
Yeah. Wow.
Heck of a career he's managed to amass.
Oh, yeah.
What, 15 plus years wrestling?
18.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And barring at least, I know he was in one dark match or squash match. Never signed a contract with WWE, never had a run with WWE, worked with Impact briefly. Otherwise, has spent the rest of his career working the independents to great success. One of the co-founders of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. And now he just wrestles all over the world, suplexing people with his penis.
Yeah.
Heck of a career for Joey Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not just a dick flip wrestler, though. He is a well-versed, well-rounded wrestler.
That dick has made him a ton of money, though.
That it has.
Yeah, that dude.
So it's smart of him to be all in on that gimmick.
You know, he is definitely somebody to look at in terms of, and not just in pro wrestling, but obviously it applies to pro wrestling too, but any sort of artistic hustle. You look at Joey Ryan, a guy who's put it together for 18 years. He's got his own. He's the head of bar wrestling, isn't he?
He's involved somehow.
Yeah, he's involved pretty heavily. I think it might be his. I don't know. But that guy's put it together. It's funny, after so many years in the industry and being successful, his breakthrough came at year 17, you know, or year 16, whatever it was, with the whole dick flip stuff. At a certain point, you know, when you break through to a whole nother level, we kind of see that with Chris Daniels' SCU now. You know, already had a stellar career and then broke through to another level because of being the elite. I love seeing that kind of stuff. I'm going to take a slightly different tact. There are a ton of names that you probably could throw out, even though WWE seemingly, you know, snapped up everybody. There is no one clear, obvious name out there. I'm going to go take a look at sort of a what if, and my name is going to be Magnum TA.
All right.
Because if that dude had never got into his what was it, car accident,
Yep.
motorcycle,
Car.
Okay. Car accident.
He was driving his
Was it
Porsche.
Kerry Von Erich who had a motorcycle
Yeah.
accident? Okay. If he had never had that car accident, it wouldn't surprise me at all, because that dude, he didn't just look like an NWA wrestler. You know, that dude had the ingredients to go to New York, to go to WWE. And I believe he would have at least had one stint there. He's the kind of guy I think Vince probably would have loved. You know what I mean? Maybe no, I don't know. And so I'm gonna say Magnum TA, just because if that had never happened, maybe the course of wrestling history, maybe it would have changed.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Who knows? We'll never know.
Good answers. Next up, we've got the Freak Legion.
Yeah.
Loki's got a question. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hello, Stephen Larson. Loki Richard here with the Freaks. My question for you is on Xavier Woods' Up Up Down Down channel. He had mentioned that if he had the run of WWE, he would have Kofi Kingston with the WWE title. I know you guys book your show yourself, but if you could pick anybody who you would not think would actually get a WWE championship run, who would you give the title to?
Like Nemo?
No, you have to be signed with the WWE. My answer would be Shelton Benjamin. Have fun with the debate, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Loki.
Thank you, Loki. And of course, he's there with his henchman, Delete, and then who's the guy in the back?
Buddy Love.
Oh, Buddy Love. That's right. We're learning all the characters
Yeah.
in the Freak Legion.
Yeah.
I like it. I go first.
Yes, you do.
This dude has been, number one, he might be on the verge of winning the Cruiserweight Championship. I think it'd be great if he did. And then number two, this guy has been one of my favorite characters in the WWE for a little while now. I'm talking about Drew Gulak. He calls himself the top submission expert in the WWE. I think it'd be fantastic. I know, granted, he's undersized compared to a lot of the guys he'd be fighting, but if he was over there on SmackDown, for example, I was looking at this question in terms of, okay, who could be another Jinder Mahal? Who's a guy who could sort of come out of nowhere and be like, wait, really? Well, Drew Gulak would be actually starting a little bit higher than Jinder Mahal, perhaps because his character is further along than Jinder was back when he won the title. That being said, I think his character work is so great. He's such a strong personality that they could, if they really gave him like an extra mean streak and he just goes around tapping people out, kind of like what we see with Zack Sabre Jr. over there in New Japan, that type of game, even though he's like taller, obviously. But if it's something like that, where this dude just goes around tapping people out left and right, I don't know how big you are, I think that would be a lot of fun to see Drew Gulak get that. And there's over there, especially if it was on SmackDown, you got guys like Daniel Bryan, Almas, AJ, you know, even Samoa Joe. That'd be fun to see. It'd obviously be heel versus heel, but a lot of interesting matchups for Drew Gulak. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think he's got the kind of personality who could, in an environment maybe where a bunch of people are injured, that dude could definitely step up and take the grand prize. I mean, look, if I was booking this show, I wouldn't even wait till people got injured. I'd be like, all right, let's push this kid up.
Yeah.
So yeah, my answer would be Drew Gulak.
All right, I'm gonna go with Bob Lashley. When I heard this question, I thought veterans, wrestlers who'd been WWE for a while, maybe not continuously.
Guys you can count on.
Yeah, that you can count on that are well decorated, but have never claimed the top prize. And so I thought Bob Lashley. I thought when he returned to WWE after being gone for 10 years and doing great work and winning all sorts of titles in TNA and Impact, that they were going to push him to the main event scene right away. Hasn't happened yet. However, I know he still wants that match against Brock Lesnar, which I hope for him happens because I think that'd be great. And also, I think with this new pairing with Lio Rush is going to do wonders for Bob Lashley. Not because Lio can be, just based on the small bit of evidence we've seen so far, is a capable manager. Mm-hmm. I think the interactions between the two of them will showcase more of Bobby's personality.
Oh, I can't wait.
Because we saw a lot of that in Impact. Mm-hmm. So I'm hopeful this new partnership with Lio will help springboard him up into the main event scene.
Yeah, isn't it kind of funny though how isn't it kind of funny how there are actually more people on the main roster who it wouldn't feel out of place for them to win the top title than there are people it would feel out of place.
Yeah.
There's so much top flight talent on main roster. Like you could say so Drew McIntyre, current tag team champion, totally reasonable for him to be Universal Champion.
And he will at some point.
And he probably will be at some point. Obviously you've got Finn, anybody on SmackDown Live, Miz, Joe, Almas, Bryan, anybody there who isn't WWE champion totally could be.
Yeah, totally could be.
For the obviously Ty Dillinger's not going to be champion anytime soon, or R-Truth. But, the guys, everybody who was on TV this past week, they all could be WWE champion on SmackDown. Yeah. On Raw is a bigger show. You got more going on. But still, Orton, Hardy, Nakamura, they're all none of them would be out of the line of question. That's why this is a hard question.
A name I would have brought up had he not seemingly retired is Matt Hardy. Give him one world title run in WWE.
Yeah.
But seemingly
there's a lot of people who feel the same way. I'm not one of them. But yeah, I think he's the kind of guy, dude. His career has been so great anyway.
I know.
He doesn't need it. Well, I mean, yeah,
I think it'd be a great kind of cherry on top for
somebody asked this before. I'm a bigger fan. I'm not a huge fan of the, I guess you maybe call it obligatory world title, like the Christian world
the thank
title.
you world title run.
I'm not a huge fan of that.
I don't have a problem with it. If there's a person who has dedicated so much of their life and their body to your company, and you feel like as a token of appreciation, you're willing to put your top belt on them, even just for a short time, just to say they can have that accolade, I don't have a problem with that.
It's It to me, that's why the world title was so downgraded. It was so because they would do that with the world title, like Alberto would have it. Although I think they really liked him, but Christian had it, Dolph had it. It was a bunch of people who just I don't really know if they deserve a world title. Or I'll put it this way: not deserves it. They all deserve it because they all work really hard. If you consider a title a reward for hard work, which I kind of don't.
No, I don't. It's
money is a reward for hard work.
But also making money because you're generally rewarded with world titles if you make money for the company.
I mean, not everybody's night though. You can't pay for your sandwich with a title. So anyway,
but I mean, I wouldn't say okay, just give someone a title as a thank you without. It'd have to make sense storyline.
Okay, that's the point.
Really
that's the point. I don't think it ever did with Christian.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I didn't, and that's kind of what it's like. Really?
If it just seems that obvious that you're getting the almost like a parting gift.
Yeah, Mark Henry.
Or your Christmas bonus, essentially.
When Mark Henry won it, felt like both a thank you and totally made sense storyline.
Yeah.
So,
and I think with Matt Hardy, they could have it make sense storyline.
You know the way they could have made sense? If they had kept Bray Wyatt built the way he was.
Replace Randy Orton with Matt Hardy in that same feud, and it would have worked.
Then it could have made sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a question from that hat
Gatlin.
guy.
Yeah, that hat guy,
Gatlin T. Let's see what he has to say.
What's up, Stephen Larson? It is that hat guy, Gatlin T. And my match chat question this week is, what specific moment do you guys think signified the end of the Attitude Era? My personal one is when Stone Cold took the chair from Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 17. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. All right, guys, too sweet and a hearty handshake.
Thank you, Gatlin T.
Thank you, Gatlin T.
I got to go first, don't I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, what he mentioned, Austin's heel turn is generally regarded as...
That's so funny. So this was gonna be my
really?
answer because I thought you were taking this, and I actually think it's this.
Yeah, so we're gonna have the same answer, which is WWE buying WCW.
Well, no, we can talk about the entire scenario.
Sure. Because I wonder if WCW hadn't gone under and made available for purchase, if they would have even considered Austin turning heel. He was.
Oh, that's a good question.
He was their cash cow. He was making all the money for the company.
That's a good question.
And he was the ratings draw.
Yeah.
And if they still had competition in the form of WCW, would they have ever considered making such a drastic change?
Oh, well, hold on a second, though. Austin's heel turn came before the purchase. It was April. The purchase was in July, wasn't it?
Oh, is that the time frame?
I want to say yes.
So I thought 17 was like the first kind of...
18 was the first one.
No, I know the real one, but I thought it was...
Wait, maybe you're right. Maybe 17 was the first one with WCW people.
That's what I thought it was.
Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness.
Here.
WWE buys WCW date. Oh, it was March. You're right. It was, WrestleMania was right around the corner.
It was right after
March.
it,
I don't know. I always think July. Okay, sorry.
So yeah, who knows? I mean, I don't know what the creative plan was prior to WWE buying WCW. If this was always in the cards, Austin turning heel.
That's a good question, though. That is.
I don't know. I've never looked into it.
Well, nobody's ever.
I can't remember anybody ever making a point of saying anything one way or
Right.
the other
Exactly.
about it.
Yeah.
So in my mind, once WWE didn't have that competition any longer, which that competition is what inspired partially the Attitude Era to begin with. For me, that just kind of says, okay, WWE, we won, we bought our competition.
We can all settle into a groove now.
Exactly. Let's move on.
So the general consensus on internet is that it's the end of WrestleMania 17, the heel turn. I actually agree with what you're saying here. I think that the Attitude Era, granted, so there was, if the Attitude Era, if we consider it Mania season, March, April, if it ended then of 2001, the Ruthless Aggression era started in 2002. What month was that Ruthless Aggression episode? I forget what it was. But because there was there's obviously a space between eras, if you will. But no, I definitely think the idea of the purchase of WCW then caused WWE to say, okay, so like you said, we won. Now we have all this talent that not only, we own these contracts, but there's a wealth of talent out there in the world and nobody else is really primed to buy them. So that's on us. Now we have to rethink everything we're doing. So they go into the invasion thing. So the idea of the Attitude Era was no longer relevant, really. But no, interesting question about the Stone Cold heel turn. Would they have continued to play? Did they see that? What was more of a risk to keep Austin, to turn him heel, or to keep him face the way he was, keep the status quo? Did they think he was stale at that point?
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. He never. The fact that he never said, yeah, they bought WCW, and so they thought they could play a little. They could go in a different direction.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would have figured somebody would have said that by now. But it's.
If that were the case,
it's an interesting question. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, if that had any bearing on that at all. Next question from Patrick Sparks, the Matt Chad Hall of Famer, Patrick Sparks.
B-Man.
Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, friendos, Pat here. All right, so debate today is about legacies of superstars. Out of the current talent under the WWE banner, this is Raw, SmackDown, NXT, even UK people, who are the biggest superstars under the banner to come out of PWG, Evolve, CZW, Progress, Dragon Gate? What do you guys think? Biggest superstars that come out of those promotions that are currently under the WWE banner. And out of those promotions, who do you think who currently wrestle in them will be big stars come to see in the future? Thanks, friendos. Bye.
Thank you, Patrick Sparks.
Thank you, B-Man.
So, man, he gave us a list of promotions.
Yeah.
And we have to then declare who are the biggest WWE stars. So we had a sort of longer conversation about, well, Kevin Owens. Is he more of a PWG guy or a Ring of Honor guy? He was champion in both promotions. He's got the most number of reigns in PWG.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, the issue is that so many independent talents, in the late 90s, all through the aughts, just worked for everybody.
Yeah.
Ricochet, I think he has said that he considered PWG his home promotion in the States and Dragon Gate his home promotion in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he won, I'm assuming, Bola before he left. had a championship reign before he left. He did a couple weeks in Dragon Gate in Japan before going to NXT.
Yeah.
But I don't know about a lot of other people.
You're right.
Whether you know whether Daniel Bryan considered Ring of Honor his home promotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, so when I think of PWG, the one guy that stands out to me is a guy who might have considered himself a primarily PWG guy, might have been Sami Zayn. I mean, it says here, so in his little breakdown here in Wikipedia, it says PWG is the first thing it says.
Yeah.
Generico achieved much success in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as a 2-time champion and a 5-time tag champion. He's the only person to have won both of PWG's annual tournaments. And he won Battle of Los Angeles. He was Ring of Honor television champion. So he considers himself primarily
Could be.
have been a PWG guy. God, he started there in 2004. He wrestled there last in 2013. So I would think for PWG it's probably Sami Zayn, just because guys like Adam Cole, Kevin Owens, I think they're probably more Ring of Honor-ish guys. So there you go. There's a little bit of progress. It's Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's Pete Dunne.
It's Pete Dunne.
It's Pete Dunne.
I said Owens for PWG just because he has the most title reigns.
Yeah, right.
Evolve has got to be Drew. They kind of were starting when he came in.
Oh, was okay.
And dropped that promo. That was in ICW, but then he pretty much instantly went to Evolve after he got let go by WWE and won their title.
Okay.
Ricochet for Dragon Gate, because I know he kind of considered that his home promotion in Japan.
There you go, yeah.
And then Pete Dunne.
Yeah. So look at us doing research, putting in the time and effort.
Yeah.
For Patrick Sparks.
B-Man.
The B-Man. Next up, we've got a question from
Stephen M.
Stephen M.
Constantú friendos agus multú gá. Is your Irish linguistic expert Stephen M here with another Matt Chat question. Now, I was thinking about heel factions, and in particular foreign heel factions. And what got me thinking about this was there's a picture that went up with Becky and the Bar. And they honestly looked awesome. So I was thinking, can WWE do what New Japan initially had with the original Bullet Club, which was a cool foreign heel faction running amok and just being cool, instead of the whole typical I hate America blah foreign heel shtick they usually do? Because I always felt the League of Nations was a huge missed opportunity, and it could have been really cool. So take a male wrestler, female wrestler, and a tag team, and argue why they would be the best foreign heel faction. I'd pick Balor, Becky, and the Bar, and I think they could do amazing stuff and just take over.
Thank you, Stephen M.
Thank you, Stephen M.
You got it right.
Yeah, congratulations, Stephen M. You got it right.
You got it right.
Adding Finn to Becky and Thebar, I can't think of a more... Here's the thing. They're Euro cool. When I see Cesaro and Sheamus with their soccer jerseys with Thebar on it, I wouldn't mind getting one.
Yeah.
Because they just remind me of sort of cool, fun European football fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they've got that level of, like, cool to them. And then you obviously add Becky, who's, like, the coolest thing ever, and then Finn, who's the coolest thing, like, literally ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a group right there. Interesting that he mentioned the League of Nations as being a missed opportunity. I semi-agree with that.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. You got Rusev. Now we see what works best for Sheamus.
Yeah.
And it totally fits him.
Yeah.
Because I love Sheamus now.
Yeah.
Alberto is whatever.
But Rusev seemed like he was having a good time. And if
Rusev
he
was having a good
showing
time.
the character abilities he is now, more so back then.
Who's the fourth guy?
Wade Barrett.
Oh, and Wade Barrett. Yeah. See, here's the thing. That entire group kind of lacked cool. And when you add Del Rio, it like that actively takes away cool from it.
Yeah.
You know, he's just a recipe for not cool.
I'm trying to think of another option, because like his answer is great. What if you have like Nakamura lead a feud? Him and Asuka.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, not a feud, a faction.
Yeah. What if it's him, Asuka? I would love to see if they're leading sort of a really vicious faction like that, what they could do with a heel Kairi Sane. That could be really interesting. Who's what's her name? Satomura?
Yeah.
Could you imagine her
Oh, I know.
in a faction with Nakamura?
Oh,
on
I
him?
know, yeah.
Ooh, that'd be good.
That'd be really good.
That'd be really cool.
Put Hideo Itami in there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That'd be good too.
Oh, I like that a lot. That's really good. Just go around and just be violent.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Good answer. Next up from Christopher Roperson, we got a question from him.
Yep. See what Christopher has to say.
Hello, Steve and Larson. My question is what WWE superstar or NXT debut or legend or Hall of Famer or dead or alive or celebrity would you have interrupt our lives when he's doing his segment? I will have DDP Yoga so he could drop him with a diamond cutter. Or I have Stone Cold Steve Austin because, drink a lot of beer saying, what? And him with a stunner.
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher. Who do you got?
Jeff Jarrett.
Ain't he great?
Ain't he great? JEFFJARRETT. He comes in there, interrupts, and he's the one that gets the guitar over the head.
All right, I'm going to double down on what you said. He's got a Mad shirt on, and it's a full-on Mad invasion.
Oh, wow. But the results are the same. He gets the guitar over the head, right?
Everybody in Mad get a guitar on the head because they're from AAA. Oh, great answer. Next up from A.O. Worm. Let's see what A.O. Worm has to say.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, A.O. Worm, your new Friendoverse Tag Team Champion. Let that sink in for a second. Bask in my glory. All right, cool. On with the questions. All right, so Steve Larson, what would make the state of wrestling within WWE better? Them branching out and partnering with other smaller promotions like AEW, PWG, or actually partnering up with other of their competitions like Impact, ROH, New Japan, promotions like those to help boast their company, make them seem more relatable, make it seem like they're not just trying to poach talents from other promotions, and just make the state of wrestling more enjoyable, more fun, so they won't have to try to hijack and sign people like Kenny Omega and the Bucks. They can just have them do like little one-offs here and there, or come like do an invasion feud while they're still under contract with the other promotions. So it works out for everybody. Everybody gets their cake and eat it too. Or would you say that WWE needs to expand even more so across the globe? I know they're in different little areas now, but when was the last time you seen Raw in Hawaii or Alaska, or seen a Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-view overseas in like Europe or Africa or even in Japan? Even though I know you have New Japan over there, I know back in like a while ago they ran shows over there. I know they might do still live shows, but actual like TV shows. So which one would be better for WWE to go to? Which one would make the state of wrestling better? Them partnering up with other promotions, or them trying to really get out there globally in like different areas where wrestling might not be prominent? All right, guys, take it easy. Too sweet, hearty handshake.
Thank you, A.O. Worm.
Thank you, A.O. Worm. All right, and congratulations, by the way, winning the Friendoverse Tag Team Championships. And Kimberly won the new Friendoverse
Predictions champion.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
I don't know who's Discord champion right now.
I was for a while.
You were for a bit. How was your time at the top? Here, how was your time at the top?
It was real good.
That's what I asked Carmella. How was your time at the top?
Great.
Then I asked her about shoes.
Oh, what'd she say about shoes?
Find out in the interview.
Yeah.
Anyways, what is this question? Oh man,
Yeah.
I'll go first. I think it's okay. So as a fan, I am going to agree with what Larson's about to say. But as a business person who's trying just to make $1.01 in this business, Larson,
WWE is making more than $1.
they're making a ton more. Do you know why? Why? Because they're out to dominate. That's why. They bought WCW. They bought ECW. They went out and...
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I do. It's Phil. They went out and they had a meeting with Impact just days ago. Makes me wonder if Impact is going to start licensing their global wrestling network. Now that Jeff Jarrett wants to torpedo that name, they might be like, you know what? We're shutting it down. WWE will license it to you, or maybe they'll sell it. I don't know. WWE prefers to own their stuff. They want it, and it's worked for them as a business. It makes total sense for them to go into markets that maybe aren't saturated with wrestling, it makes sense for them to go into markets that are saturated with wrestling and put their presence there because they're WWE and they can do that. Because people who want a gateway to possibly get from local NXT to the main roster, that's how they're going to want to do it. That's a good bet to have on yourself. So yeah, what they should do business-wise, probably just dominate. But I love this answer a lot better because I'm a fan and I like to see small independent promotions get some rub. So go ahead.
One of the best stories of the whole Attitude Era was hearing about Vince sending money over to Paul Heyman to keep ECW afloat.
Yeah.
And they had a bit of a talent exchange.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the first time that WWE has had talent exchanges, co-promoted shows. They used to do shows with New Japan.
Yeah.
And they seem to have stopped doing that once they became a publicly traded company. Whether that's some philosophy the board of directors or Vince or whomever has adopted, they seem to pretty much put an end for the most part. You see them doing stuff with Evolve and with Progress in ICW, put a stop to any sort of collaborations. However, in this world where WWE's market share is secure, they're synonymous with wrestling. Like Kleenex and facial tissue is the same thing. People think wrestling, the first thing they think of is WWE.
People think copying machines, they think
Xerox. No one says, I'm going to go to a copy machine. I'm going to Xerox this.
They think they go to do their ears, and what do they think? Q-tip.
Not ear swab, no.
Ear swab.
Nope.
Exactly.
Sort of like if you need some lip moisturizer, what do you reach for?
Lip balm.
Chapstick.
Oh, chapstick. Vaseline.
So
yeah, what is Vaseline anyways?
It's petroleum jelly.
There you go.
It's a petroleum product.
But it's Vaseline.
You're rubbing crude oil on yourself. But just think of and this is a pipe dream. I understand this. Although with Impact meeting with WWE, we don't know what the context or the meaning of that meeting was.
Slow down there, Sparky. What are you talking? WWE Impact Talent Exchange?
No,
that sounds like the Book of
Steve.
No,
but the fact that they're having conversations about something
weird,
and also the fact that within the last few years they have engaged in some sort of relationships with Evolve, Progress, ICW, some other smaller promotions. It seems like maybe they are, or at least Triple H may be, softening on the stance of we own and control everything we do.
Could be.
And if that's the case, I'm hopeful that maybe in the future we'll see more collaborative efforts. We heard about Kenny and the New Day trying to get a crossover going there in the ring. That never happened, but they let it happen at E3. WWE could have, I'm sure, totally told New Day, no, you can't do that.
Of course, yeah.
But they allowed it to happen, which sounds ridiculous. Because
no, that doesn't sound ridiculous. That's what happened.
I know it's what happened, but they allowed it to happen. And it was a huge success.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight. Any sort of collaboration is going to be bit by bit by bit. But I'm hopeful, especially now as Vince is getting older. He has his XFL hobby. He's going to be concentrating more time on
football money.
Maybe Triple H can get in his ear a bit more and say, hey, you know, WWE's doing fine. We're not going anywhere.
Man, that dude was the guy who had the map with all the yellow string, dude.
I understand.
He's not getting anybody's ear.
And say, you know what? We're doing fine. Let's think of the health of the business overall. The business is better when companies are working together.
We are the business. Hey, Dad, we are the business. I got this. Global localization.
NXT everywhere.
Evolve, buy it. Rev Pro, buy it. You can buy everything, dude.
Oh, they don't work with Rev Pro.
Exactly, because they're going to buy it. Anyways, what's up? Who's up next?
Zach S. Let's see what Zach S. has to say.
Another Hall of Famer.
What's good, Stephen Larson, many friendos out there? It's your official friendo versus IWGP Heavyweight Champ, Zach S. Coming at you with another match at question. The question this week is, besides Asuka, Undisputed Era, and Finn Balor, the obvious answers, who would you say has had the most dominant career in NXT, the best career in NXT? Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Zach S.
Thank you, Zach S.
Neville. Prior to Finn, the longest reigning NXT champion. He's a multi-time tag champ, I believe, in NXT. Granted, I really wasn't watching NXT much back when he was champion.
Man, I'm telling you,
But
those are so much fun to watch. They're so weird.
He is an incredible talent. He is dearly missed.
No, I miss Neville.
I hope we see him again real soon.
You think he's going to be Ishimori's tag partner, tag league? Because he was teasing some mystery partner.
Well, and also apparently Naito was teasing a new member to LIJ.
Man, you think it's going to be Neville?
No,
me neither. I don't think he's going to be Ishimori's tag partner either.
No, he's not going to join Bullet Club. He's Suzuki Gun. He's totally Suzuki.
Makes all the sense.
Makes all the sense in the world.
The answer is Nakamura. Give me a break. It's Nakamura. I don't know how long his reign was. Didn't he have like 2 reigns?
Yeah, he had a couple of reigns.
Yeah, he was. Here's the thing: when NXT got huge on the backs of, I'd say, 3 people: Nakamura, Balor, and case could be made for Asuka. But Nakamura was definitely there during a very pivotal period. I feel like he helped take it to the next level. He came in with all the mystique, with all the buzz, had a 5-star classic with Sami Zayn. That set the tone for what we got with Nakamura in NXT. People loved him. He was electric. He's still great. And yeah, it's funny because expectations for him that he had built for himself in NXT were so sky high that even when he debuted on main roster and he was still treated like a rock star, people thought it was underwhelming because his expectations were so through the roof. And even I was one of the people complaining about how they didn't treat him right. And, oh, my God, Nakamura, they're burying him. But, no, man, they treated him like a rock star. But because he didn't win the world title night 1, people thought that it was not good enough. That's how big he was in NXT. It's Shinsuke Nakamura. I would even maybe argue that he brought something extra that Finn didn't, and therefore he was more responsible for the success during that period in NXT than Finn Balor was. I think Nakamura is the answer. Next up, we got a question from AJ Styles' contractor. Let's see what he has to say.
Going on, Stephen Larson. It's your boy, AJ Styles' contractor, the man who helped the face build the place. Here with another Matt Chat question. And I want to talk about feuds, mainly in the women's division. Ronda Rousey, she's been doing great as champion, but I feel like the Alexa Bliss feud, it was okay, but she could have did better. And I think she could have did better with somebody else. So my question is, who are 2 other women competitors that she could have faced off with? Now, here's stipulation. Larson, you have to go between Ember Moon and Bayley. And Steve, you have to go with Dana Brooke and Mickie James. Let's see what you can come up with. Too Sweet, Hearty Handshake, and... yeah, didn't think I knew about that. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, AJ Styles, contractor. Man, yeah, I'm going first. So I have to argue that either Dana Brooke
or Mickie James, both of them.
Both of them?
Would have been better feuds than Alexa Bliss.
I don't know that I can argue that, to be honest with you. I like Dana Brooke. I think she's in a fun little underdog story right now with Bayley and Sasha. She's just on her own, and she has to fight one of the 2 of them every week, seemingly. I really hope she gets one win out of this because I think people really want to like Dana Brooke, and they want to. She's the kind of sorry, she's the kind of person who people really like. It's just they never really book her strong at all, but she's got a very endearing personality. And I kind of feel like if they pushed her a bit, people would really grab onto that, you know? I don't really know what like her ceiling would be, but I think it'd be fun if they found like a really good tag partner for her for when they dole out those women's tag titles. I really like her. I think she's great. And that's and then Mickie James is classic. Take a look at Mickie James versus Asuka in NXT. And if you had something like that, a Mickie James who, you know, she can command the mic. She's really good in the ring. And she could have been, you know, the vet to say, hey, Ronda, you're new here. I've been here for ages, even though I took a lot of time off. You got to get past me first. That could have been good. I could have seen that.
Yeah, that could have been good.
I'll stop here real quick. If Mickie James had not come back in the first place and Ronda Rousey was debuting, and Mickie James was her in her return. Was her first feud. That would have been probably really huge. Because she was a big name when she came back. Now she's a hand.
Yeah. Ember Moon. My worry about the Ember Moon's fantastic, great wrestler.
Yeah, she is.
And so in terms of match quality, I think it would have been tops. It'd been awesome. However, with Ember Moon just coming up to the main roster, my worry would be is having her in a feud with Ronda. Ronda's going to go over, and while it'd be a good high profile feud for Ember Moon and show off her immense skills, worry is she'd lose and then get lost in the shuffle afterwards. Because totally. Ronda's going to dominate that title picture for a long time. Bayley is experienced wrestler on the main roster. She has put on some fantastic matches. As seen in her matches against Sasha and NXT, fantastic stuff. I don't exactly know what route they could take in terms of story with this per se, other than, hey Ronda, you just shoved yourself to the front of the line, something like that. I don't know, but that could work. Bayley and Ronda could work. I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bayley's best bout machine on Raw, so her and Sasha. So I think that if
she had proposed Sasha versus Ronda, that's money. That's got money written all over it.
Oh, that is huge money written all over it.
But I didn't necessarily think the Alexa feud was bad.
I think so. I think that if they had put Ronda in with a wrestler with just a lot more, so with a Sasha or Bayley, because they're so much better wrestlers than Alexa Bliss. Number one, I think Ronda's been a complete success. I really do. And I'm with you. I don't think that the Alexa thing has been bad.
No, it's just a situation. If you want to enhance Ronda's star power, and putting her against Alexa makes sense because Alexa's had the title for so long.
Yeah, but
if you want to put on a good match,
yeah,
and potentially showcase Ronda's wrestling skills,
yeah,
which maybe they don't want to do at this point,
possibly.
Then someone like Bayley or Sasha would have made more sense.
Here's one flip side of that though. I do kind of feel that Alexa has really been sort of the recipient of this has hurt Alexa. Considering where she was, and then she gets a couple of squashes, or she gets one nasty squash match against Ronda. I feel like if Bayley was in the same position, number one, they would never have done a squash match against her. It would have been more competitive. I think that because it'd be a face versus face thing.
Yeah, maybe.
And number two, Bayley's taken all sorts of losses, and she still remains fairly popular.
Yeah.
And so I think she would have been hurt less than Alexa Bliss, and we might have gotten some better matches. Even though the matches haven't been bad.
Yeah, they're bad.
They've been booked towards Ronda's strengths, which is what they should be.
Yeah.
But maybe they would have been a bit more creative. You would have had a problem. Yeah, I mean, you need your top heel against Ronda Rousey, though, and that's Alexa Bliss. So that makes sense.
Next up, Thayer Thabad's got a question. Let's see what Thayer has to say.
Hey guys, very special Matt Chat question this week, as it was selected by the members of the Friendoverse. Who would make a better mixed match challenge team? Steve and Lacey, or Larson and Rachel? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Thayer.
Thank you, Thayer.
So we're gonna make the case for the other. I'm gonna make the case for you. Well, Lacey.
That's all. That's the only case there is here.
Yeah, she could be really mean.
She'd wreck every one of us.
Yeah, yeah. She punches me on a regular basis.
She does. Yeah.
And in a format, in a scenario where punching is encouraged, no, the norm. I think she would do well. She would carry your team to sure victory.
I wouldn't even need to tag in.
No, she would just clean house every match. It'd be squash matches across the board.
Yeah, basically. I'll say this. I don't know if you've ever been in a legit fight past the age of 12.
Well, apparently I wanted to murder Hilton one time. That's
It never came to blows.
All right.
I helped stop a bar fight once.
All right.
Which wasn't really me fighting.
No, that's you preventing violence, not encouraging it.
Exactly. But I did have to hold people back. I would be surprised if I learned that Rachel ever got into a physical confrontation.
I'm not aware of any.
Okay. Lacey has.
Mm-hmm.
I think on multiple occasions.
Mm-hmm.
So she is scary. I'm scared of my wife.
Okay.
However, that being said, if I were to make the case for you and Rachel, it would be you guys could definitely beat us in like a nice, lovely dinner with well-prepared and cooked food. So if that was the match stipulation, you guys totally win. But there's no chance that you're going to beat Lacey.
Wow.
Like, I'm just being
I
realistic.
totally put
here.
you guys over, and you didn't even bother trying.
I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Not the question. He's trying. It says, put over.
Well, literally during the question off camera, you were complaining about your neck hurting. That's not encouraging at all. Your wife is one of the nicest, kindest, gentlest people I know. I don't see her fighting. I just don't see it.
But have you ever seen? I've never seen murder in your eyes. You've apparently seen murder in mine.
Yeah, but you didn't go through with it. Had you thrown one punch? Well, I don't know. I mean, you've kicked me. You've kicked my chair before when I beat you at video games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe.
I got a bad temper, man.
Look, you know.
I got a bad temper.
But here's the thing, though. That's all real life.
Yeah, I know.
Right? What is the squared circle? A big old work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not sure if you can method enough to generate murder thoughts.
You'd be surprised.
Oh man.
Next, Joshua Martinez. Let's see what Joshua has to say.
Hey friendos, just coming back from brunch on this Sunday morning, so it got me thinking. Quick and easy question this week: who would you go on a date with you and your wife for brunch? Let's not pick Undisputed Era because that's a super easy answer, but I would be interested in when you guys pick. Thanks, friendos.
Thank you, Joshua Martinez. I'm gonna go with Miz and Maurice. They both seem very charming. And especially with a situation where you're just going to sit, have a good meal for an hour or two, chat with them, share a few laughs. I think that'd be fantastic. Miz and Maurice.
Oh, they'd be very charming.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fantastic. So I've got two couples that I can think of.
All right.
Number one, Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. I would love to hear about their time in the wrestling world.
Yeah.
They've both achieved great things and promised to achieve a great many more things. Candice LeRae is actually going to be part of the roster.
Yeah, DLC.
Yeah, that's awesome. My second couple would be, so I had to look at this because I heard like a rumor on Twitter, and then I looked at this here. Apparently they're dating Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. It would be one of those deals where I would have to like look into the possibility of a swinger type lifestyle.
You're not equipped for that.
Like a swap type deal.
You're not equipped for that.
Oh, I'd be fine. I'd know with that couple. Oh, I'd be totally.
You're
fine.
not equipped for that lifestyle whatsoever.
I think I could be.
No.
See, not with randoms, but with those two. Are you kidding me? Oh, absolutely.
I don't think you.
Lacey'd be totally on board too.
I don't think you're.
Yeah.
I don't think you can handle
Look,
that.
it's okay. It's not like a competition here. You do your thing.
It's not a competition
because
at all.
I know you're not fit.
No,
for
I know
that.
I'm not. I'm self-aware enough to realize that.
No, man. Oh, that'd be great.
Next from Jeremy Carden. Let's see what
Becky
Jeremy.
Lynch with these days.
You still with that MMA guy?
I think they broke up.
Oh,
I thought you told me that.
Oh, maybe I read that on the internet. I don't know. Next from Jeremy Carden. Let's see what Jeremy Carden has to say.
Hey friendos, Mr. Friendoverse Money in the Bank here, Jeremy Carden. My question for you guys this week is, with a big and quick push, I guess you'd say, who would be more believable as top champion on their brand? Would it be Bobby Roode or Bray Wyatt? Curious to see what you guys think.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy.
So, a better champ. Go ahead.
Oh man, you don't have to try to argue for Bob Roode. It's Bray Wyatt. It's if Bray Wyatt, Larson, to this day, if Bray Wyatt stepped back for 3 months and got a slight tweak of a rebrand, of a character refresh a little bit, but still was Bray Wyatt and still a supernatural guy, he could still be the next Undertaker. He could still be legitimate. if they simply book him that way, if they simply book him to win, if they give him his family back. He is that strong a force of personality that is still completely and totally and absolutely legitimate. It's 100% Bray Wyatt.
Bloom's off the rose, man. Bob Roode is one heel turn away from being a massive heel star world champion type guy. That's all it takes. Just Bob Roode just needs to hit his stride, find his groove, which he had in NXT. If they had brought Bob Roode to WWE as NXT Bob Roode, he would already be. He might have contended for the WWE title on SmackDown. Don't know if he would have won it, but he would have definitely contended for it.
You want to talk about Blooms being off roses?
But we've only seen it relative to Bray. Relative to Bray, we've only seen a small sample size of Bob Roode.
Larson, I don't like this term. I don't like this term at all. Burial. That dude has been buried.
It's because creative doesn't understand what they got. Buried. I think they understand full well what Bray Wyatt can be. They just don't do anything about it. But I don't think they understand what they have there with Bob Roode.
You know, realistically speaking, Bob Roode could easily turn it around. He could be a more legitimate version of what they did with Jinder. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. However, Bray Wyatt's been there. He can go there again. I don't think. I mean, I mentioned this kind of earlier in the show. There isn't a person in the WWE by and large. I mean, maybe Mojo, maybe a couple other guys in the loser locker room, but by and large, if you're on Raw every week, you have a solid. Your ceiling is Universal Champion. I firmly believe that, because if they take somebody, there's so much talent on main roster. They can take any of those guys if the creative is creative enough, if they make them legit enough. The inherent talent and charisma is there in almost every single one of those main roster stars.
Yeah.
If they could take Jinder to WWE Championship, whether you liked his run or not, it felt real in moments. That dude was least likely.
Yeah.
Right? Least likely.
Yeah.
So 90% of what you see on TV, legitimate. I'm not talking about the tag division.
Yeah.
Tag division on Raw is a joke.
Well, champions right now aren't a joke.
That's true. That's true.
Next, TNA.
Because they're not in the tag division.
Yeah, not full time. Next, TNA for life. Let's see what TNA has to say.
What is up, friendos? It's your boy TNA for life, here for another match chat question. Stephen Larson, I want to know if you had to cast a biopic of the Beatles with WWE superstars, who would you pick for each role? That's George, Ringo, John, and Paul. You have to cast everyone. I want to know, who would you pick? Thank you very much. Too sweet. Hearty handshake. Peace out.
Thank you, TNA for life. All right, we got to cast a biopic of the Beatles with wrestlers. All right, who's Scott Hall playing?
What the hell is this question? I love TNA for life, man. He pulled this one out of his ass. I love it.
Scott Hall as
Scott
John
Hall
Lennon.
as John Lennon. Come on, man. Finn Balor looks like a Beatle.
It's true.
Finn
He
Balor.
could be Paul.
No, Finn Balor is Stu Sutcliffe.
All right. Who's Pete Best then?
Who did you say Scott Hall is?
John Lennon.
Pete Best, big strapping dude, Drew McIntyre.
All right, good.
I'm killing this so far. Get Scott Hall out of here.
Well,
you're
his
crazy.
Face is right here on this
You're
poster.
crazy.
Who's Lex Luger? George Martin.
God damn it, dude.
Who's Brian Epstein?
I don't know.
Roman Reigns.
Harley Race. Brian would you take this question seriously? God damn it. Okay, what British superstars do we have? Pete Dunne. Oh, who could Pete Dunne be? He's sort of a George.
Yeah. A bit of a malcontent.
Yeah. Who's Trent Seven?
Ringo.
All charisma. Ringo!
Ringo's a charismatic dude.
Oh, Trent Seven is John.
All right.
He's John.
And then Tyler Bate would have to be Paul. Because he was the youngest, wasn't he?
No, George was the youngest.
Oh, that's right.
Paul was the cute one.
Well, Tyler Bate's a good-looking dude.
He's a good-looking dude. All right, fine. Tyler Bate.
Then who's Ringo?
Flash Morgan Webster.
Jack Gallagher.
Jack Gallagher. That's a good one. That's a good one. Who's Brian Epstein? Asuka is Yoko Ono.
All right.
That's because she's scary. She broke the group up. That's what people say. Brian Epstein. Really, what broke the group up was him dying. That completely killed the group. You need a very gentle soul. That's more Jack Gallagher, to be honest with you.
Well, previous Jack Gallagher. Jack Gallagher now, trying to be mean.
Exactly, trying to
be mean.
I don't really buy it. Anyways, we got a text question.
Yeah, from Mo Clo, Master Low Blow. Should the traditional face heel dynamic in wrestling be utilized in favor of more complex motivations? Cody Rhodes has it right.
There are no more heels and there are no more faces.
It all depends. You got to play that particular crowd.
So, the question is, should heel face dynamic.
And as we see this Becky Lynch Charlotte feud, when it's worked at its best, it's when they are just complex people with complex but understandable motivations. No one's necessarily in the right. No one's necessarily in the wrong. You understand why they're behaving in the way they are.
Okay, but let me ask you this question.
I think that's what works the best.
Let me ask you the question, though. Does WWE actually know that, or do they just sometimes stumble into it?
Here's what I think is happening. Okay. They're trying to push them to the extremes of the spectrum. They're savvy enough performers, charismatic enough, smart enough to know.
Are you saying they're going off the grid? Or they're going off script?
I'm not. No, they're reading the script verbatim. I think in terms of the subtext, how they perform the lines is what's adding the depth to it. I mean, Becky, to a certain degree, can't help but be immensely charismatic.
That's just who she is.
That's who she is. Yeah. And I think she's keenly aware of that. She knows what her strengths are. And she knows.
Quinoa aware of that?
There you go. Trying to do a Becky pun there.
That's terrible. Sorry.
And so I think in terms of, like, she's given the script, and I'm sure she's given some direction. She's like, okay, I'll do this. And then does it the way she thinks would be best, which adds a lot of complexity to it. And I think Charlotte's doing the same thing.
I think you're overthinking it. I think that they don't understand that people doing awesome things is really fun to watch. I honestly think that's kind of the case.
I'm agreeing with you in terms of WWE
But here's
creative.
Here's the thing. They just write this down on paper. Becky Lynch beat up people and act mean. You know what you're going to get. And that's supremely over.
Yeah.
That's supremely over. But do you think WWE understands that?
No, I just said they don't. I said it's the reason the reason this feud is doing as well as it is because Becky and Charlotte are awesome. They're really good at their jobs.
People love Becky Lynch, man.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's really good at her job too. Anyways, what a very engaging episode of Matt Chat, compelling and rich, dramatic. How's your neck doing?
Awful.
See, you're already digging yourself into a hole, man. Lacey's gonna rip that neck off, man.
Yeah, probably.
I don't even have to tag in. I'm gonna be sitting there like trying to hold Gypsy back from biting me because she likes to play rough.
Yeah,
rough. Anyways, that's it for this excellent episode of Matt Chat. Once again, on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steven Larson. You want to be part of Matt Chat? You can do it. You can just do that. $20 a month in our pockets, in your face, on our show. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.